We're certainly living in very interesting times, and as an executive candidate in the market, it's really quite challenging. It's a lot harder to make executive career moves happen, and there's no doubt that the game has sort of changed quite a bit over the last few years. It used to be relatively straightforward to undertake career moves. So look, I've got a few pieces of advice, for candidates. The Executive Candidate Survival Guide was a book I wrote, 2 decades ago, but it still holds true. There's a number of things you need to always have in place to ensure that you can kind of survive, the economic ups and downs and, the snakes and ladders of your corporate life. First and foremost, you must always have a career plan in place, and that can include looking at different options for employment, different industries, have a clear idea of where you want to go over the next few years, where you'd like to land, the types of experiences that would be good experiences, how you can continually build and evolve your own executive competencies and experiences, leadership capabilities, and the like. So you need to have that plan in place. And part of that plan would be to have a financial plan, always having a good financial healthy buffer in the bank accounts or in your secure assets and the like, and making sure you have those multiple sources of income stream, because the reality is if you have all the eggs in the one basket, whilst it can seem very straightforward and appealing, the reality is the whole game is shifting, and so you really do have to consider those alternative sources of income. So, I've practiced what I preach myself personally. I make sure I have about 10 different income streams. So if one or two come to a halt, or if one or two dry up for whatever reason, there's still a backup plan in place so that I can keep the home fires burning, so to speak. So I think as an executive these days, you must have a clear plan. You must have backup plans. You must have a clear financial plan for yourself and your family, so that you've got backup strategies. You've got the security to be able to take the time sometimes to make the right career moves. And then you really do need to invest in your business networks and, really forging those quality relationships also with corporate headhunters. And that just doesn't happen overnight. You have to really think about who are the right people in your industry, who are the top executive search firms, who are the top consultants within those firms, and you need to forge genuine relationships with those executives, and also get onto the radar of the researchers that sit within those firms. And part of the way you can do this is you can make sure that you're doing some public speaking. You can make sure that you're sharing thought leadership on LinkedIn platforms. You can make sure that your LinkedIn profile is completely up to date, and you're really being a very active participant on that platform, because that is how a lot of executive search firms identify talent, is through the LinkedIn platform. So it's really crucial if you want to secure opportunities, be headhunted, be offered with new roles and briefings. You want to be as active as you possibly can on that LinkedIn platform in terms of sharing thought leadership, being connected to the right people, and really understanding how that paradigm works. And then finally, you really want to ensure that within your own organisation that you're really operating in the right ways. You might need to consider getting a career coach or mentor, someone external to the organisation who's going to help you navigate your employment opportunities, so that you're really making the most of everything that's on offer within the corporation that you're working in. And, I think a lot of people underestimate this. They just kind of flow in the organisation, go along with what everyone's sort of saying and telling them to do. But you really have to look at the organisation, understand the hierarchy, understand the politics, understand how a promotion would occur. You need to think about how you can gain as much professional development while you're on the job. You want to look at how you can forge relationships across business divisions. You want to see how you can really add value right across the business. And so having your own career plan within the organisation itself is also important, and really forging good quality relationships. I rarely see anyone secure a promotion without the support of dozens of peers, colleagues, bosses, past bosses all voting to support that individual to go forward in the organization. And so you're constantly in this kind of mode of forging good relations, doing professional work, being a professional in the workplace, garnering that support so that you will be offered other opportunities within the organization itself. And that could be a better strategy than trying to go to market and try and secure a role. Keep in mind, when you go to market, it's extremely difficult to try and secure a promotion. So if you're operating at COO level, it's quite hard to go to market to secure a CEO role unless you're going into potentially a smaller organization where your skills would be appropriate. So, sometimes it's easier to secure a promotion from within the organization that you're working in. But I think, candidate survival, being able to thrive in these new ecosystems, you've got to stay well educated, you've got to stay well networked, you've got to be regarded as a thought leader outside of your organization, you've got to be contributing, giving back in the community, in the industry that you work in, and you need to have all of these things all going right all the time, really effectively. And that's why I think it's really important to consider having a career coach or mentor. If you don't have someone like that beside you, navigating and helping to advise you can be quite challenging to understand how to make sense of the whole new world when we're looking at career moves and moving sideways, upwards, across, or potentially even being restructured out of organizations and having to bounce back. So there's plenty going on at the moment. So, for executives who are looking at a career change in the second half of the year, which is where a lot of career moves happen, book into my diary for a confidential career assessment, and we can talk about what's possible, and we can potentially talk about working with me to help guide you to the next opportunity in the market.